Hi, I'm Dr. Mike, and today I'm going to introduce you to the 3 healthiest diets on Earth. Now, the first thing that comes to my mind when I think of healthy eating is eating more like our ancestors did before we became industrialized as a society. In fact, I'm so passionate about this idea, I wrote a book about it called Returning to an Ancestral Diet. And right now there's a Kickstarter campaign going off to try and raise funds to publish the book very professionally. So you can check the link below if you're interested in maybe supporting that campaign. So what is an ancestral diet? Well, I think if we go back far enough, a few hundred years to a few thousand years ago, most people's ancestors were eating like homesteaders. You know, a farm, you got pigs and chickens and cows and, a root cellar and a big garden and all that good stuff. Before that, pretty much all of our ancestors were eating like hunter-gatherers, what people nowadays call a paleo diet. Now, some people still eat like that. Some of my ancestors about 3 generations ago were eating like that. But pretty much everyone's ancestors were eating that way for the last, few million years. And just before that, or you could say interspersed through that time, our ancestors also had to go through ice ages, and our diet changed somewhat during that time. And I'll go into lots of details about that in the book, but I just want to walk you through what I would call the 3 healthiest diets on Earth, which is an ice age diet, paleo diet. I call the real paleo diet because I got a couple of little pet peeves with the modern paleo diet as it's packaged, and then that healthy homesteader diet. So we're going to move the conversation over to the whiteboard so we can get into all the great details, and hopefully this is going to inspire you to take really good care of yourself and understand why eating this way might be the best choice for you. So to my mind, the first healthiest diet on Earth is the Ice Age diet. And I'm not trademarking that and trying to make it like it's some special thing, but I'm going to share with you what I would call kind of a pet theory I have about evolution. So imagine for the last few million years, and the idea we used to be primates, there's been all these ice ages that keep happening, and it's kind of like a big scary mountain of ice and snow coming down from the north and a big scary mountain of ice coming up from the south, pushing all of our ancestors way back to when we were probably primates towards the equator. Now that's going to be quite the bar fight in the sense of how the first couple of thousand years goes, but as things settle down and the food supply probably diminishes, it's quite likely that our ancestors, especially way back, eventually found their ways to the ocean. Now, what does a primate eat at the ocean? Well, it bashes on some mussels and finds a lobster or a crab or something like that on the beach, and maybe starts to swim after a few thousand million years or however long it took to the point where we're maybe hunting for fish. So that's just one of my thoughts, and unless you're from another planet, your ancestors went through the last ice age. And why that's relevant to your health is that means your physiology has adapted to that diet, which is that ratio of protein, fats, and carbohydrates that all of our ancestors have had to basically survive on during an ice age. So here's some of the things I recommend people eat on what I call an ice age diet. Now I think it's worth mentioning at this point, I'm a doctor, I focus on integrative medicine, combining functional medicine, nutritional medicine, and Chinese medicine, and my primary focus is on autoimmune disease and digestive problems. And that often comes around to what's called leaky gut syndrome. So I'll walk you through this and give you a sense of why this might be the healthiest diet for you, at least for maybe a week. So for me, I think an ice age diet, I'm thinking a lot of raw fish. And today that would look like sashimi, something you get at a Japanese restaurant, or if you can get sashimi grade fish from a local fisherman's market or something like that, you're going to be getting the right kind of fish because it has to be sashimi grade. That means it's been frozen at a really low temperature for a long enough time to kill the little flukes in the raw fish, because the danger of raw fish is you get a fluke, it gets into your liver, and then it causes inflammation, and you can get in all kinds of trouble, and I don't want you to get into any kinds of trouble. So another thing you can do with raw fish is called ceviche. And ceviche is basically chopped up raw fish with a bit of lime juice, avocado, cilantro, cucumbers, pretty much anything else you like. But the acid in the lime juice cures the protein in the fish, so it's technically not a raw protein. But what's important is the oil in your fish has not been affected by temperature. Now we all have heard that, take fish oil for inflammation in your gut. Now, the fish oil you're going to get in a capsule is probably a lot less effective than the oil you're going to get out of the fish right there on your plate. So that's really important to lower the inflammation with those fish oils. And you can get them in the health food store, but they're probably about 20% as effective as doing this. And I've been doing this 18 years now. Everybody who goes on an ice age diet for a week suddenly feels a huge shift in their immune system, in the sort of swelling and bloating and heaviness in their abdomen. So it's a good idea. Another thing that I think would be a common thing on the beach during an ice age is eggs. And it's really important when you're using eggs as a primary food to keep the yolk soft. There's something in your egg yolks called lecithin. It's good for your liver, your gallbladder, and your brain, but the lecithin is basically destroyed if you cook the yolk solid. Also, when you cook the yolk solid, you get oxidized cholesterol, which is really bad, whereas healthy, flexible, yummy cholesterol is actually really good. But believe it or not, I'll do a video on that too. Lots of plants. I think today, anything you can basically get around vegetables, healthy roots, probably avoid the nightshades just for the triggers in the gut, and that's tomatoes, potatoes, peppers, and eggplants. So just avoid those and you'll have all the rest of the plants you want. Another important aspect of the Ice Age diet, as I recommend it for people, and it's just meant to be kind of cute and funny and easy to remember, are sea vegetables. So that's kelp, now you get the little nori rolls for your sushi, kombu, arame, things like that. So if you actually chose to spend a few days using these as your primary resources for food, you'd be eating the least inflammatory diet with respect to your GI tract. And I've done this with many, many, many people and seen amazing results. So Dr. Mike's healthiest diet in the world, number one, for just a few days to a week, the Ice Age diet. After that, you're going to want to go and eat a lot of other fun things.